Hi guys and welcome back to the channel Held Dominance. Anthony here. Please remember to like and subscribe and also click that notification bell if you're enjoying what you're seeing and if you want to see more. Coming up on this episode we have the final reports of the NRL's weekly round and how a rugby union 7's player made his debut and exceeded expectations. Let's get into the reports as there were two games to close out round 11 in the NRL's weekly rounds. As we see, first of all, the South Sydney Rabbitohs play Canberra Raiders. Souths are using Dubbo's Apex Oval on Saturday night to host the Raiders in a clash where they're looking to alter the scoreline in their favour rather than the result that what happened in 2021. Their opponents at Dubbo last were eventual premiers Penrith Panthers, who put them to the sword 56 points to 12. Not many would have predicted both sides would have been lining up in the final last time out, later that month, a few months later even, but the Rabbitohs proved last year that results like that can be the catalyst for change. This week's opponents, Raiders, are on a roll after upsetting the Sharks in Magic Round in a dominant fashion. So Ricky Stewart's side have strung two wins together and look like the team that are about to turn a corner after a tough start to the year. And with that, here are the teams for the Rabbitohs first of all. Hame Saleh comes in for David Moali after overcoming a calf complaint in the only change to the South Sydney side following their tight win over the New Zealand Warriors at Magic Round. For the Raiders, a couple of late changes before kick-off with Brad Schneider coming into the halves for Matt Frawley, while Harry Rushton comes onto the bench with Ryan Sutton out. The Raiders moved Corey Wahera-Nara to the 18th man on Saturday with Adam Elliott starting at lock. Zach Wolford gets another start at hooker. Prop forward Josh Papali'i plays his 250th NRL game. So on to the match report itself, and the Raiders ensured that Josh Papali'i celebrated his 250th game in style with a romping 32 points to 12 win over a lacklustre Rabbitohs at the Apex Oval on Sunday. The Raiders picked up where they left off in last week's big win over Cronulla and piled on 4 unanswered tries in the first half as the Bunnies struggled with their completion rate in a trend during the game lost last year. Tries to Papali'i, Nick Kotrick, Hudson Young and Sebastian Christ in the opening 40 minutes set up a 20-0 lead before both sides exchanged early tries in the second half. A penalty goal with a quarter of the game left put the Raiders up by 20 before a blistering try from Xavier Savage sealed the victory. South's efforts with the ball weren't helped by two failed HIAs to Tane Mills and Tavita Tatola, but overall they struggled to produce any points with a lack of cohesion in attack. The defence was also a concern for Jason Demetriou, particularly in the manner some of the tries were conceded through the middle of the field. So for a match snapshot, Canberra called in Brad Schneider pre-game after Matt Frawley succumbed to illness, and the Raiders having at least affected ahead of the game. Rabbitohs suffered a blow immediately at kickoff with Tavita Tatola suffering a head knock before failing a HIA after a heavy collision. Raiders forward Josh Papali'i scored a try on his 250th game to give the visitors an 8-0 lead early after Nick Kotrick crossed untouched in the 4th minute. Tom Starling came onto the paddock with immediate effect, setting up Hudson Young on the left edge with a short ball in similar fashion to Papali'i's try a few moments earlier. Then Souths lost Tane Milne with a head knock to compound their woes, with Cody Nikorima playing fullback and Blake Taft shifting to the centres. The Raiders lost Charney Nickel Clockstack with a hamstring injury at half-time, shifting Xavier Savage to fullback in the second half. Souths completed 66% of their sets for the match, well below the 72% average that they have this season. Rabbitohs hooker Damien Cook got the Bunnies on the board with a piece of individual brilliance before chasing down Jack Whiten in defence in a rare highlight for the home side. Josh Papali'i finished his milestone game with a try, 116 metres and 8 tackle busts. Alex Johnson scored a try in the second half, took him to 144 tries, equals second alongside Benny Waring for the most in South Sydney's history. So that's the final score, 32 points to 12 to the Raiders, with the Rabbitohs dropping like a stone and the Raiders rising like a phoenix. Now we come to the final game of round 11 as the NRL closes the weekly round with the game between the Gold Coast Titans and the Cronulla Sharks. With these two sides coming against each other, Cronulla travelled to Queensland for the second consecutive week to take on the Titans side on Sunday, who finally tasted some success last week after 5 consecutive losses. The Sharks themselves were hit another Suncorp Stadium's roadblock with a lacklustre performance against the Raiders to slump to their second loss at the venue. Cronulla's attack was off compared to previous weeks, with Nico Hines moved to fullback and the suspensions of Will Kennedy and Jesse Rahman clearly rattling the side's cohesion with the ball. Gold Coast enjoyed their first win in more than a month to set up an intriguing match to end round 11, with the Titans continuing a 6-week block where they won't leave Queensland until June the 18th. With 3 home games in the next 4 matches, the Titans will be looking to climb up the ladder and get into the top 8. So here's the two sides' team news. The home side are 1-17 that they called earlier in the week. Sam McIntyre accepted a $1,000 fine for a dangerous contact charge and will be free to take his place on the bench. Brian Kelly will be the 18th man for the Titans. There are no late changes for the visitors though, as the Sharks see Lauchlan Miller make his first grade debut in the number 1 jersey, previously representing Australia in the Rugby 7's. More about him later. Nico Hines returns to the halves alongside Matt Moylan. Dale Finucane is still out with a knee injury, replaced by Royce Hunt at prop, with Cameron McInnes remaining at lock. Wade Graham has been promoted to start the game, with Teague Wilton moving back to the interchange bench. Andrew Fafita will play his 200th game for the Sharks as well. And it was Cronulla who rolled up their sleeves with an 11-minute burst in the second half, which helped them to a 25 points to 18 win over the fast-finishing Titans at Cbus Stadium. The Sharks were in an arm wrestle for the opening 40 minutes on the Gold Coast before surging away from the Titans, who were forced to defend their line for most of the contest in the wet conditions. Cronulla's attack hit its straps after half-time with 3 tries in quick succession, setting up an 18-point lead before the Titans hit back with 2 of their own to set up a grandstand finish. However, a Nico Hines field goal with less than a minute on the clock sealed the win and got the Sharks back in the winning circle. This after a shock loss against Canberra in the Magic Rounds. NRL debutant Lauchlan Miller was impressive in his maiden game in the first grade, running for the length of the field try, while Hines returned to the halves had a ripple effect on the start on the Shark side. For the Titans, prop Jared Wallace was among the best in the side with a double, but split a ball late to kill off any chance of a golden point finish. Spilt a ball even. Fullback Jaden Campbell tried hard at the back, but overall Justin Holbrook's men struggled for enough field position in this loss. So, Titans struck first through Jared Wallace, who ran a nice line off AJ Brimson to crash over next to the post. Cronulla enjoyed 59% possession and territory, but could only break the Titans' line once in the opening 40 minutes through Connor Tracy. A 3-try blitz started by Nico Hines, who finished off a team effort before sending Ronaldo Mulitalo over to set up an 18-6 lead. Miller's effort extended the lead before the Titans hit back with 2 tries to remain alive in the contest. Titans prop Jared Wallace scored the second double of his career to keep it the home side in the game late in the contest. A try for SM Masters put the home side within 6 points with 3 minutes left, but the Sharks managed to hang on. Sharks forward Toby Rudolph was put on report for a crusher tackle, and Philip Sammy picked up a knee injury in the 73rd minute in a setback for the Titans winger. That all being said, it was a full-time score of 18 points to 25 in the Sharks' favour. It's not often that your NRL debut trumps an Olympic Games, but for Cronulla's Lauchlan Miller, a rain-lashed victory over Gold Coast might have just done that. The 27-year-old former Australian Rugby 7's player made an eye-catching start to his first-grade career, scoring a long-range individual try as the Sharks secured a 25-18 victory over the Titans at a soggy Seabus Stadium. While Miller played for his country at last year's Tokyo Olympics, as a former rugby league junior to be playing in the NRL in front of a crowd that included his mum, partner, infant son, and about 30 mates from Coffs Harbour, it was a moment to savour. I loved my time in rugby union, but when I was younger, it was a dream to play NRL. Since coming back here with this group of boys, you get that term thrown around. It's like a family, but it really is. They got to a position where I was ready to debut, and I can't thank them enough. Miller impressed in this outing, finishing with 201 metres run and 10 tackle bursts, as well as his try, when he claimed a loose ball from a Titans kick on the bounce before surging 70 minutes through a staggered defensive line. The guy played in Olympic 7's, Sharks coach Craig Fitzgibbons said. The big stage is not an issue for him, and the reason myself and Moons, Sharks general manager Darren Mooney, wanted to sign him. And it was for that reason. He's a developed athlete. He's turned 27 now. As an athlete, he's developed. He has good power, good strength, and good fitness, and he's not scared of big moments. Yeah, he got a lot of education footy-wise to catch up on because he hasn't played the game for a number of years, but he's very studious. Once he gets the education and continues it, he's a good one. Fitzgibbons, however, was quick to scupper any ideas of Miller's debut will create a headache for next Saturday's game against the Sydney Roosters, with regular fullback Will Kennedy available after a 2-game ban. Be a brave man not to pick Will, Fitzgibbons said. Lockie obviously showed that he's capable of that, and he does have a utility value. Going forward, like now, you can see there's an NRL player there. We'll discuss selection later in the week, but Will Kennedy is very important to the team. So Miller's stay at fullback might be a short one now that Will Kennedy's back, But he has put plenty of thought in Coach Craig Fitzgibbon's pipe to food for thought, shall we just put it that way, as he can do a job. He's talented enough and scored a try on his debut. Yes, we're not going to expect that every single week, but if he starts putting up numbers like 200 meters ran from kick returns and tackle busts and things like that, don't see why not. He would be a first choice fullback. All that I can say about it is Will Kennedy has to be looking over his shoulder as someone wants his jersey. And that's it for another episode, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like, subscribe and share this video worldwide, as well as clicking that notification bell for any new videos that may be coming your way. Tell me what your thoughts are of this episode. Do you think that Cronulla are back after their blip at Magic Weekend? Do you think the Raiders are going to climb back up the league? Are Gold Coast going to be on the periphery of the playoffs or nearer to the bottom of the league when all things shaken out? Or will someone come in the place of the Rabbitohs, with them dropping like a stone this early in the season? Yes, there's only 16 games to go, not even halfway through the season, and things can change. But they seem disjointed in attack and disjointed in defence. One of those needs to get sorted out quickly, otherwise they could be dropping out of the playoffs. The Rabbitohs I'm talking about. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Please remember to share this video worldwide. But in the meantime, please stay safe. I wish you all the best, and I'll see you in the next episode.